the validity of that passport or travel document that you are using. However, if you are a resident foreigner, and resident foreigner by the law is somebody who has stayed here for over 90 days, and the law states that if you stayed here for over 90 days, you are required to have a resident permit. And as well, you are also required to have a non-citizen Ghana card. So for that category of foreigners, resident foreigners, they will also have to use their non-citizen Ghana card to register for a Ghana card. Otherwise, they will have to use their passport, and then they will only be limited to an activation period of 30 days.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I got a message from Herbert from Fadama on WhatsApp asking basically the same question. So Herbert, I hope you have your answer. Can you register 2 or more numbers on using one Ghana card?
And also the data SIMs. There are certain telcos that provide you with a data SIM that you don't actively use to place phone calls.
Like Turbonet.
Yes.
So
we use yes. How do you go about that registration? Because with the data SIMs, they connect it to your phone number. It has this wonky way of going about. So how do you go about
know. That? All right, so let's talk on the number of SIMs that you can register. For an individual like you and me, we set the SIM registration for 15 years and above. This falls in line with the mass rollout of the Ghana card that they did. They started registering people from 15 years and above. So we also thought it wise that because of the pandemic and the way people were using communication services, let's just bring the age down from 18 to 15 and above. And so once you fall within that category and you're an individual, you have the permission, or you have a limit of 10 SIM cards to be able to link to your Ghana card. That is for individuals and for resident foreigners. If you are a visiting foreigner, you can only register 3 SIM cards. The only exception to this rule, right, is for business organizations. So if you're a business and then you are using a lot of SIM cards, obviously 10 will not be enough. So for businesses, they can register an unlimited number of SIM cards. But the caveat here is that the business people will have to go to the mobile network operator with their business registration documents, and then the mobile network operator will verify from Registrar General's Department if this particular business that has come to register SIM cards is validly registered with them or not. Once they are able to check and verify that it's a validly registered business, they proceed to register the SIM cards for the business. However, all those SIM cards will be linked to the Ghana card of a listed director of the business, just so that if one of the SIM cards happens to be used to cause crime or fraudulent activity, and there's a need to trace back and the police get a court order, we will know that this SIM card was issued to this company and it is linked to this director's Ghana card. But of course, the director too will not have these number of SIM cards against his personal quota of 10 SIM cards. So that is it with the limit of the SIM card.
Right. This is just for me, out of curiosity. Have the MNOs told you how many people the figures so far? How many people have registered?
We have an interesting. Actually, a lot of people have expressed interest, and people are actually registering. We hope to be able to release the figures by the end of this week.
Okay.
As you know, these numbers are going into the SIMs that are registered. The details are going into the central SIM register. That data base. What we want to do now is we are trying to just streamline and then cross-checking to make sure that the figures that we are getting from the MNOs tally with the figures going into the SIM register. So we hope to be able to share these figures on a weekly basis for people to know the uptake of or the progress of the SIM registration.
Right. So this means that there will be a central point where every single telco can have access to my data, for example?
No. So before we even started the SIM registration, you had registered your SIM card, and so that information was with your service provider. That information was with your service provider.
Okay.
What we are trying to do here is to comply with Executive Instrument 63, which was passed last year by the President. And he mandated that there should be a central SIM identity register.
Right.
Where all the telcos will now put that information on a central SIM register at the National Information Technology Agency. So it will be on a server there. So it is that same information that you have with the telcos that is going to now be stored in a central SIM database. But if a telco, if I don't have a SIM card from Network B, of course that network will not have access to my details on the SIM register, because it will only be your network provider that will have your details on their own database.
I see. Awesome. I don't know if they have any questions.
Yeah, well, so since we are techie people, the obvious question we'll ask you is, you talked about phase 2, having to go to a service provider to get the process going. We would also like to ask, was an online process considered during that? Because the first process, stage A, is smooth. I'm sitting in the comfort of my home. I'm doing it. Most people would like to continue that until the taking of the photos and everything. And even with that, maybe you could have a system where you book an appointment. So let's say, for instance, the way some of the embassies go about it, where if it's that time, that's your time, you go in, and so nobody gets confused on what's going on. Was that ever considered? Are we possibly going to get that?
Yes. It was considered. But we also looked at the issues that we had previously and the need that we have to make sure that the people who are registering for the SIM card are those same people who own the IDs. You mentioned that you talked about the embassies where you can do an online and then you go there. So you realize that there's a point in time where you actually have to go there in person, and they verify, they check your name, like your face and all those things against the IDs that you have used to submit the online application for visa. So we really need this process to be able to weed out the elements of fraud. That's why this process is being used. Now, you asked another question earlier on data SIM.
Yes.
Some people are able to remove the SIM card from the data SIM, slot it into a phone, and then register it. And I know you being techie people, you can do all that. We've also realized the need that not everybody is as techie as you. I don't think I'm techie as you. And I don't even think I want to go around fiddling with my TurboNet or my MiFi or whatever, take the SIM card out and go through all that process. So the MNOs are actually going to come out with a process to help you to be able to register your data SIM. And because people, like you said earlier on, people have already registered their SIM cards and then they have some data SIMs attached to them, they are going to come out with a process which will make it easy for you to be able to link those data SIMs to your Ghana card and register those SIMs as well.
Wow, awesome. Also, we are currently on Geek Squad with Nana Bedu talking about the SIM card re-registration. You can call us on 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. Call in and you can ask. Nana is online. She can answer your questions. Michael, you've been awfully quiet.
I mean, I'm just thinking ahead to when I have to go and do my phase 2. And like I mentioned before, I got very fortunate with my registration in Ghana, and I can't, but I'm still pessimistic. I can't think of the number of ways it can go wrong. It can just go slow. Like, I know I'm putting you on the spot a bit, but can you give us another, but regards to the citizenry, that it will go as smoothly as you say? Like, how easy is it to do phase 2? Because presumably
it is very easy. The telcos right now are in the process of rolling out the phase 2. And so for some of your service providers, you realize that they have actually rolled it out in a number of their customer care shops. And the whole idea is that it will be rolled out even to the agents so that the agents can do the stage 2. Now, the beauty of this is that at the back end, they are able to know which agents, because the agents are registered with them. And so if an agent does an illegal registration or a fraudulent registration, they will be able to quickly identify the agent, and if they have to block, suspend, or whatever, they will do that. And it's easy. We did a pilot test before we rolled this out, and even now that is going on live, now that we've gone live, it takes just about 3 to 5 minutes for the phase 2 to be done. And once they roll out to the agents, you don't have to really drive all the way or go all the way to a customer care center to do it. The agent should be able to do this for you.
Right. We have Kwame on the line right now. Hello, Kwame. Hello, Kwame.
Hello.
Hi. Do you have a question for Nana?
Yes, I do.
Please go ahead.
I wanted to know, once a while, some people abuse our numbers, and we would want to change our numbers to another. So in case I exhaust my numbers, like I think I'm able to register 10 of my SIMs, maybe some for data and the rest, and at a point in time, I feel like this particular number, everybody knows, I don't want to use it again. Do I have a chance to change it? That's my question.
Okay, all right. So to find out if once you've registered a number, you have the opportunity to change your number.
Yes.
Yes, you do. If you don't want to use a SIM card again, all you need to do will be to go to your service provider and tell them that I don't want to use a SIM card again. So kindly from my Ghana card, and then they will do that. I think that the process or the duration for the linking will vary from MNO to MNO, but I am thinking that it shouldn't take more than 3 days. Your MNO should be able to tell you. And then again, for the telecom industry, we have a policy where if a SIM card has not been used for 90 days, we call the SIM card as an inactive number or an inactive SIM. And so what happens is that the telco will churn that number and give that number out, and can give up that number out to somebody else to use. And so that's why the fact that you have registered your SIM, if you do not use the number for over 90 days, that number will be put on ice or hold for the telco for another. Sometimes they do it for another 3 months or so to see if you would come back to use it. And if you don't, they just change the number, where the number goes back into a pool and it's issued out to another subscriber.
Okay, great. We have another caller on the line, but we're going to take him right after this commercial break.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Hi, my name is Kwesi, and welcome to my do-it-yourself class. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to activate Momo. You can now self-activate your Momo on your phone by yourself wherever you are. It's as simple as DIY. So do it yourself. Activate your Momo wallet now. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my class.
So now you know. Activate your MTN Momo account on your phone all by yourself. Just dial *170#. Follow the message prompts and that's it. So go on and pay bills, make and receive payments, and buy airtime using MTN Momo. Because we're good together. We did for you everywhere you go.
Okay, welcome back to Geek Squad. We have Ajim and Joseph on the line. Hello, Ajim.
Yeah, boss. Good evening. I hope you're doing well.
I'm good. Please ask a question.
Yeah, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
First one, I know when we were registering our SIM cards with voters ID card and driver's license or what have you, the same data, date of birth and all those things that they were looking for, we gave them. And those information that we were having on our cards is what we use to do the Ghana card. So why then can't they just look for the Ghana card PIN or the number, personal identification number, So they will add up to what they are having in existence so that you are good to go. Secondly, if I'm using a SIM card and one reason or the other, I'm not able to, make it active for 3-4 months, then these circles will change it for my name and resell it to whoever is ready for it. And that very SIM card was registered in my name. How then would they change it and make it available in the market for whoever is ready to buy? That's my question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. So let's go. Let's tackle the first question. Yes. You are asking why we can't use your previous information that you used when you registered your SIM card, assuming you use the voter's ID to register the SIM card. If you joined us earlier on in the conversation, I mentioned the fact that the previous registration we did in 2010, 2011 did not have a verification part to it. And so we had people using other people's ID cards to register for SIM, which the owners are not aware of. Also, some of these ID cards were again used to register for SIMs, and then these SIMs were sold out to people who commit fraud and then crime with these SIM cards. Another thing we want to do again is that the law specifically mandates that you need to use a national ID card to register for your SIM card. Yeah. So we are seeking to comply with the law. We are seeking to build a SIM database that is credible and is accurate, especially in this time of digitization, where the government is seeking to ensure that a lot of e-government services are available to people. And even in the private sector, where you have people buying and selling and transacting all kinds of business. I'm sure online and social markets, you've heard a lot about people being scammed because a buyer was fraudulent, a seller was also fraudulent and all that. Yeah. So we're actually seeking to build trust within the system. We are wiping the slate clean and complying with the national ID regulations, which require that every single SIM should be registered with a national ID card.
Yeah. And his next question was about whether... Yes.
His next question was on
would the telco
fact that he has registered a SIM.
Yes.
And then the number, if you haven't used it over a period of time, the number is given out. Yes. And let me just quickly clarify the air and say that all the numbers do not belong to you even when you register your card.
Right.
So the SIM numbers are generally, so every country has a block of numbers that they use. And I'm sure you know the international dialing codes for each numbers, right? For each country.
Yes.
And so what happens is that the telcos come and they buy your these numbers in block. And then they give these numbers to people to use when people register for a SIM card. Can you imagine people using numbers, not buying a SIM card, not using their numbers, and the numbers lying there? It would get to a time where we would, in quotes, run out of numbers. You know, we have people who unfortunately may have passed away. People have bought SIMs with other devices and things who are not using these devices again, and all these devices or all these numbers are there and not being used. So we have to find a way to reuse the number. The numbers are what we call in the telecom industry a numbering resource, and it belongs to the state. So if you register your SIM card and you do not use the number for over 90 days, and your service provider even goes further or gives you some bit more mileage and then gives you a little bit of time to see whether would you come back and use it, failing which the number will be changed. Now, I know that some service providers, in a bit to and make customers more happy, have come up with a system where people can actually reserve or pay for the number to be reserved for them for a certain number of months or so. So people pay, and then every month a little amount is gone into the use of the SIM card, or like it's paid as if the SIM were in use, so that they can reserve those particular numbers for a certain duration. I hope I have answered his question.
Yes, you have, Nana. Thank you very much. I think that's our time, but you've been very helpful, Nana, and I don't know if the team have anything they want to say.
I guess the last question I have is, when does this registration period end? And what happens when it ends?
What happens after? Okay. For all you techie people, I do hope that you will register your SIM card before the deadline of 31st March 2022. My SIM is very important to me. I use it for a whole range of things, and the law says that SIM that are not registered in line with our directives and guidelines should be deactivated from the network. So please register and get people to make sure that they register so that they are not disconnected from the communications net.
Awesome. Thank you, Nana. Guys, it's *404# to register as well. Thank you, Nana, for engaging us this evening, and we're grateful. My name is Emmanuel. I was sitting in for Kobby, Spiky. Winston and Michael also joined me for the show.
You joined us for the show.
Yeah, you're welcome anyway.
Well, thanks for listening. This has been Joy Geek Squad. You can catch up on the show in case you missed it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts by searching for Multimedia Ghana on all these platforms. And on TuneIn, you can search for Multimedia Group, and you can listen to what you missed. This has been great. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
Hello, it's 8 o'clock here. The latest headlines from the Joy Newsroom. Government workers without Ghana cards will not be paid starting 1st December 2021.